Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Wow. Happy Sunday, everybody. Gotta love the tellies, eh? Wow. That's, sorry, for all you Tom Petty connoisseurs out there, that tone might have been a little too shreddy for, for Refugee. But, listen to that tone, eh? Wow. Nothing beats a telly, man, for anything. Like just for recording and everything else. Just ask Jimmy Page, that first album. First Led Zeppelin album. Pretty much all telly, right? Is that right, guys? Okay. Anyways, we're here to talk about Mike Campbell for a bit. Cheers. It is Sunday. You made it through to another weekend. And aren't you proud of yourself? I am proud of you too. Cheers. Got my Route 66 cup going on here. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. By that band that starts with an E. Here's a funny story. I was going to do another Mike Campbell song today, for today's show, that he did with another famous singer that you all know. But then I thought to myself, oh man, I can't do that song because it's on that guy's album. Because about, I don't know, 2 years ago, one of my earlier shows, and if you guys are loyal listeners or watchers, you've probably seen it. I did a show on Joe Walsh and played a certain song by a certain band that starts with an E. And I went back about a year later to say, hey, I want to check out that video I did with Joe Walsh. And the segment where I played that song by a band that starts with an E was cut out of the video. The video's still there, but me playing that certain riff of that certain song from that certain band that starts with an E. Sorry, guys. It was cut out of the video because the guy, lead singer of that band, I think he has some kind of crew of people that will take down or he's got software that'll identify those songs. And, I like to play things in the same key and tuning. So if I had detuned it a little bit, maybe the bots wouldn't have found me. But anyways, I couldn't play that Mike Campbell song that he played with that other guy. That you all know the song. It's called Heart of Something. But anyways, Mike Campbell produced that album by the guy who remains nameless. But anyhow, I decided to do Refugee on the same. I remember the video for Refugee, he was playing a telly. So I pulled out the telly. Anyhow, Mike Campbell is 74 years old this week. He's born on February 1st. Yes, I did my research. Wikipedia, well, what's just a wonderful thing. You can just look it up. But I wore my Norms t-shirt today, or Norman's t-shirt today. If you're a guitar connoisseur like myself, you got to go to certain stores in the world. And I've been to Norms twice because I've been to California more than twice. But when I was in my older years here, I can rent a car and drive around and find these places like Norms. And I have a very generous family. Well, my son Jacob will go to any guitar store ever with me, but the ladies in my family, they find the nice comfortable couch, and sit there and cruise their phones until we're done, and unless some famous guy walks in, but then that's never really happened. We really tried at Gruen's Guitars in Nashville when we went to see Greta Van Fleet, and we were hanging out at Gruen's, and I thought, hey, maybe this would be amazing for my kids if Greta Van Fleet walked in right now, or Jake walked in, or whatever. It would be amazing but they'll go to every guitar store ever with me again. But but that didn't happen. And anyways, Norman's in Tarzana, California, is some of the holy grail guitars Guitar, one of the most amazing guitar shops ever. Norm was a great guy. I met Mark Agnesi there. I met the second time I went there. I met Zemo or whatever. I can't remember his name. Sadly, yeah. But great guys, amazing guys, and it was all business there. I saw Norm yelling at some guy outside, wheeling and dealing the prices and that. It was amazing, and it's a regular store. He's a hardworking guy. He makes a lot of money on the vintage guitars, but he still has squires there. He still has guitar teachers there teaching lessons. He has a most incredible repair guys that I've ever seen. I never had a guitar repaired there, but I just know by playing the guitars they were just perfectly set up. Every guitar you played in that store was perfectly set up, and that's incredible because you go to some stores, and there's one store that's a huge Canadian store that will remain nameless because a lot of my friends work there, and I know the local guys and all the local stores around here. I know them. That big Canadian store that will remain nameless. If you need some help with the Floyd Roses, please give me a call because I'm a Floyd Rose guy, and all the Floyd Rose guitars I've ever played at this particular store across Canada. I've been to quite a few across Canada, and they can't set up the Floyd Rose guitar, and it's just disappointing that they sound so bad when they could sound so amazing. Anyhow, Norm's Rare Guitars is where Tom Petty and Mike Campbell bought most of their, probably a good chunk of their vintage guitars. They have a huge collection. If you love guitars, watch the Gibson. There's a series on Gibson guitar on YouTube, which is called The Collection, and they go through several guys who have huge collections of guitars. This Dweezil Zappa's is incredible because it's just all custom stuff that's really weird, and you'll love it if you love guitars. But Mike Campbell's video is just so great because he's such an artist. He didn't really know a lot about the specs. Mark Agnesi's there doing the interview and gives him all the specs, and he's like, "Oh, really? That's why they call them staple pickups and stuff like that." And but if you look on my screen back here, there's a 59 Les Paul, and Mike Campbell is one of the proud owners of a few of us who walk the planet that own one of these guitars. I don't. That's not a 57. That's not a 59 Les Paul over there, even though it looks like one. But yeah, I think there's only 700 in the world now, or documented, or they have them, and they're worth astronomical amounts of money. And he owns one, and why not? Why wouldn't he own one? Mike Campbell is he's probably got one of the greatest vintage working collections of guitars. When I say working, I think it's great because people ask me how many guitars I have, and it's a ridiculous amount of money for a ridiculous amount of guitars that I have, Jacob and I. But they're all tools. Like, they're not worth anything. Like, don't come over to my house and think that I've got millions of dollars here. No, they're not worth anything. This guy here is a Fender Tele. It's a reissue of the 56 model that was actually a Sunburst, which I think they sprayed some Sunburst because Sunburst Strats were big at the time, so they sprayed some Telecaster Sunbursts. This is a Japanese one. It's not an original, of course. It's a Japanese one, which are highly collectible, I think. And this is in great condition. But the vintage guitar market is just exploded, and it's just incredible to see guys that are players that use them as tools. Mike Campbell's one of them. Bonamassa, forget about it, but he goes out and takes 59 Les Pauls on tour with him, and that's amazing. I saw Mike Campbell with Fleetwood Mac just before COVID. I can't remember when it was. Saw them at Scotiabank in Toronto, and loudest guitar player, I've said it before on this show, but loudest guitar player I've ever heard in an arena, and especially for that genre of music, playing with Fleetwood Mac. He had a hut over his amps on stage, like he had some people have the plexiglass things over the front, like Bonamassa and Stevie Ray Vaughan had those too, just because the amps were so loud behind there. But this guy had a a house built around the amps. And was watching his roadie do his sound check just before they went on, and he had a Firebird, white Firebird, beautiful guitar, and just cranking. And it wasn't through the PA; it was just through the on stage, and you could feel it, man. This guy was loud. And I guess with Fleetwood Mac, he had to put the covers over the amps because they have background singers, they have keyboardists, extra players. Stevie and Christine was there. I was glad to see Christine before she passed away. It was great. But yeah, man, Mike Campbell. Cheers. Cheers to Mike Campbell for being loud in a genre where, you know, you're not necessarily supposed to be loud. Who cares? He's being himself, and that's who he is. Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and the Dirty Knobs now. And rest in peace, Tom Petty. Anyhow, great to see a lot of people out to gigs again. I had nothing going on this weekend, which is awesome. We had some retooling to do with Bridge on Fire. More on that later. But yeah, it's great to get out and play and see you guys. I'm hoping to have a really great spring, summer season this year. Dare I tell the story about this guitar? I'll do it. How much time do I got? You know something? If you guys are still watching at this point, you're just the guitar players anyways, aren't you? Okay. Sometime in probably the early 90s, I was in a town called Tweed, Ontario, and I walked into a music store, and they had a Blue Flower Telly, and it was a good price, because this was in the 90s, it was a good price. And these were the days where I didn't really put things on credit cards. I just kind of saved the money and bought it. Imagine doing that these days. Yeah, so I said, hey, you know something? I'm going to go back there and save some money. So I saved some money and went back there. The store's gone. The store went out of business. Long out of business. So then I started this, I don't know what it is with guitar players, but, I didn't even play Tellys back then. I was playing my shred guitars, which I do now anyways, but, I just wanted the Blue Flower Telly. So I went on this quest to look for it. Couldn't find one anywhere. I found this little guitar shop in Mississauga, owned by a guy who used to work at another great, another guitar shop that I used to frequent. And he has said, I can get you whatever you want from Fender as long as you pay up front for it. And he was a nice guy. I dealt with him before. A very honest guy, great guy, so I knew him from the other store. And it's okay. Order me a Blue Flower Telly. I'll pay you whatever your cost is for it. And he said, that's great. Now I'll order it. Now I'll tell you. So I came back with the money. I think I paid him cash, which is he must have been just just smiling inside when I handed out the $800 I gave him for cash. And I went on my merry way. Check back. Okay, so I give him some time. Check back a month later. No, nothing. Didn't get anything. Check back 2 months. 2 months later, he says it takes a long time for them to tool up and make these guitars. I understand that. Know about guitars. Blah 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 blah. 6 months later, 10 months later. Come on, buddy. I think it was getting close. I think on the 10 months or 10 months later, I said, look, I trusted you. He goes, oh, yeah, I know. And I said, I've paid you, right? He goes, yep. No, you're up front. You paid me. I said, okay, my guitar's not here. So give me something off your wall that's comparable in price. And then when that guitar comes in, I'll swap it out for you. He said, yeah, that's fair enough. So he handed this off the wall to me, which I thought was a brand new 93, because that was around that I think it was 92, 93 when this happened. Gave this to me. I said, great. Gave me a hard case, blah, blah, blah. Beautiful. Took it home, played it. Loved this guitar. It had some electronic issues that I've recently fixed, or not recently, but probably 5 years ago fixed. Played the guitar and checked back with the guy again. Nothing. Okay. And then pretty soon, maybe a year or two went by, The store's gone, so I got a guitar for the same price, which was around the same year and everything else. So I basically came out even. I actually won because he gave me a hard case. It was pretty nice case too. So I kind of won. But I never saw my Blue Flower Telly. Maybe I'll buy one some year. It's easy to get. They're easy to get now because they reissued them and all that kind of thing. But I thought this was a brand new guitar until I took the pick guard off and realized that someone had taken some of the good electronics out of it, the Fender, and that's why it had an issue. And there's actually someone routed a room for a Strat pickup in the middle here. So if I take this off, there's a big route in here. One of my guitar doctors, who was amazing over the years, redid the entire electronics in this, and it sounds, as you heard, sounds pretty phenomenal. Anyways, I've gone way over time that I usually do. If you're still watching, I love you. Comments, guys. Comment. Tell me what you think of this guy. It's got the beautiful. You see the grain on the back here. Whether or not it's a veneer or not, who cares? It looks great. I love this guitar. It's going to see some use this summer, I think. Let's just hear it for a little bit long. Anyways, happy Sunday, everybody. Cheers. February is on us. I don't even believe in that Groundhog Day stuff anyway, so I'm not even going to talk about winter. Anyway, see you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.